Okay, I found a passage from, it's called Jubilees, but I'm going to read it from chapter 22. Um, and let's see where. And he may cleanse you from all unrighteousness and iniquity, and impurity, that he forgiven at all your transgression and your sins of ignorance, and may he strengthen you and bless you. May you inherit the whole earth. May he renew his covenant with you, that you may be to him a nation for his inheritance for all the ages, that he may be to you, to your seed, in God and truth and righteousness throughout all the days of the earth. My son Jacob, remember my words and observe the commands of your father Abraham. Separate yourself from the nations, and do not eat with them, and do not do according to their works. Do not become their associate, for their works are unclean. He's talking about our generation now. And all their ways are a pollution, and an abomination and uncleanliness. They offer their sacrifices to the dead, and they worship evil spirits. And they eat over the graves, and all their works are vanity and nothingness. They have no heart to understand, and their eyes do not see what their works are. How they err in saying to a piece of wood, you are my God, and to a stone, you are my Lord, and you are my deliverer. If you know about the owl that the Illuminati and Freemasons worship, there's a lot of people, even so-called Christians, we worship statues of people, and the Bible specifically says don't do that, and it says right here, don't do it either. And they have no heart. And as for you, my son Jacob, may the Most High God help you, and the God of heaven bless you, and remove you from their uncleanliness and from all their error. Beware, my son Jacob, of taking a wife from any seed of the daughters of Canaan. Canaan came from Ham, and he was cursed because I think he was the one that saw the nakedness of Noah, and so Canaan was cursed by Noah, because it says that he saw the something about his about Noah. So, and I think there's more to it, to that story, but that's what it says in the Bible. And all his seed to be rooted out of the earth, for owing to the transgression of Ham, Canaan erred, and all his seed will be destroyed from off the earth, and all the residue thereof, and none springing from him will be saved on the day of judgment. And as for all the worshippers of idols and profane, there will be no hope for them in the land of the living, and there will be no remembrance of them on the earth, and they will descend into Sheol. And it goes on. But where I want to start is it's in chapter 23, and it says his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him. So Abraham died, and so Isaac, his true son from Sarah, and then Ishmael, who was Hagar's, who was born from Hagar, the slave servant, or was it the handmaid of Sarah, in the double cave with his wife Sarah, and they wept for him 40 days, and the men of the house, and Isaac, blah blah blah, in 3 jubilees and 4 weeks, for the days of the forefathers of their life were 19 jubilees. So here's where it becomes interesting, because this is talking about what is going to happen now. And after the flood, they began to grow less than 19 jubilees, and to decrease in jubilees, and to grow old quickly. That's the age we live in now, and to be full of their days by reason of manifold tribulation and the wickedness of their ways, with the exception of Abraham. For Abraham was perfect in all his deeds with the Lord, and well-pleasing in righteousness all the days of his life. And behold, he did not complete 4 jubilees in his life, when he had grown old by reason of wickedness in the world, and was full of his days. And all the generations which will rise from this time until the day of great judgment will grow old quickly. That's the age we live in now, before they complete 2 jubilees. And their knowledge will forsake them by reason of their old age. And in those days, if a man lives for a jubilee and a half of years, they will say regarding him, he has lived long, and the greater part of his days are pain and sorrow and tribulation, and there is no peace. For calamity follows on calamity, and wound on wound, and tribulation on tribulation, and evil tidings on evil tidings, sickness on sickness, and all evil judgments such as these. With one another, sickness and overthrow, snow and frost, and ice and fever and chills, torpor, sword and death and sword, captivity, and all kinds of calamities and pains. That is what we're living through now, because all this is what I'm experiencing. And if you're a true man of true person of God, then yes, you are going through all this. And this is why a lot of people turn away from the faith, because it's not an easy road. And all these will come upon on an evil generation which transgress on the earth, and their works are uncleanliness and fornication and pollution and abominations. We seek sex like no other generation before. We are majorly unclean. We have polluted the absolute crap out of our world. The pollution is at a all-time high, and the abominations, they're everywhere. We worship buildings, we worship statues, we worship many false demons that are posing as gods, like Santa Claus, which actually, if you move the N in Santa, what does that say? Satan! And NASA, which is actually means deception. Then they will say, the days of our forefathers were many, even to 1,000 years, and were good. But behold, the days of our life, if a man has lived many, are 60 years and 10. And if he is strong, 80 years, and those are evil. And there is no peace in the days of this evil generation. And that's what is happening now. Our average life expectancy, I think, as a man is like 72. And women, it's about 80 or a little bit above, I think. In that generation, the sons will convict their fathers and the elders of sin and unrighteousness, and of the words of their mouth, and the great wickedness which they perpetrate, concerning their forsaking the covenant which the Lord made between them and him. And they should observe and do all his commands, and his ordinances, and all his laws, without departing either to the right hand or to the left. There are a lot of pastors that have completely said, have done away with this. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that God has done away with his laws. And right here it says in Jubilees that we have forsaken his laws. And so this is prophetic. For all have done evil, and every mouth speaks iniquity, and all their works are uncleanliness and abomination, and all their ways are pollution, uncleanliness, and destruction. Behold, the earth will be destroyed on account of all their works, and there will be no seed of the vine and no oil, for their works are altogether faithless, and they will all perish together, beasts and cattle and birds, and all the fish of the sea, on account of the children of men. I don't know if you've seen... cattle are dying big time. There's this cattle thing that's going around. I've seen, like Russia recently had 200 dolphins wash up. There's been massive amounts of jellyfish. I've actually seen videos now of these parasites eating the fish from the inside out. And so all of this is happening right before our eyes. And they will strive with one another, the young with the old, and the old with the young, the poor with the rich, and the lowly with the great, and the beggar with the prince, and on account of the law and the covenant. This is exactly what is happening right now. And this book was written way back when. I mean, it's talking about Abraham, which lived, like 4,000 years ago? Well, maybe slightly sooner than that, but it's old. For they have forgotten command and covenant and feasts and months. And notice how it says feasts. It doesn't say that God ever did away with the feasts. It says right here, feasts and months and Sabbaths and jubilees and all judgments. Sabbaths. What are you supposed to do on a Sabbath? You're supposed to praise him. You're supposed to not work. And yet we have forgotten. And there are many people that have talked against it. And they will stand with bows and swords and war to turn them back into the way. But they will not return until much blood has been shed on the earth by one another. This has not yet happened. This is about to happen. This is why World War III happens. much blood. And actually, I saw a vision of this where I was standing and the blood was like knee to waist deep, and there was a buttload of blood. And this is happening right now. And it even talks about it, like in the New Testament, it talks about how um, how there will be much blood of when Yeshua and the saints kill off all the people in the field. And it's in the valley of Armageddon. So, and those who have escaped will not return from their wickedness to the way of the righteousness. And notice how, so the people that have turned to the wicked way will not return, and they will exalt themselves to deceit and wealth, that they may each take that is his neighbors, and will name the great name. So this is happening right now. If you know anything about these people who have basically taken the wealth of everyone, right now this is happening. All the wealth is being transferred into the hands of the very few. And so this is happening right now, but not in truth and not in righteousness. And they will defile the Holy of Holies with their uncleanliness. The Holy of Holies is us. We are the temple of God. And the corruption of their pollution and a great punishment will befall all the deeds of this generation from the Lord, and he will give them over to the sword, to the judgment, and to captivity, and to be plundered and devoured. He will wake up against them and the sinners of the nations, who have neither mercy nor compassion, who will respect the person of none, neither old nor young nor anyone, for they are more wicked and strong to do evil than all the children of men. In other words, this has never happened before. And they will use violence against Israel. This is happening right now. It says, use violence against Israel and transgression against Jacob, and much blood will shed on the earth. There will be none to gather and none to bury. In those days they will cry aloud and call and pray that they may be saved from the hand of the sinners and the nations, but none will be saved. And the heads of the children will be white with gray hair, and a child of 3 weeks will appear old like a man of 100 years. And their stature will be destroyed by the tribulation and oppression. And in those days the children will begin to study the laws, to seek the commands, and to return to the path of righteousness. That is what I'm here to do. I'm here to study this, and actually there are people out there. There's like this Olive Tav woman that that has gone back. But there are people out there that are studying the original word. And the days will begin to grow many and increase among those children of men, until their days draw near to 1,000 years, and to a greater number of years than there were number of days before. And there will be no old men, nor one who is not satisfied with his days. For all will be as children in youth, and they will complete all their days and live in peace. Wow. And there will be no adversary, nor any evil destroyer, for all these days will be days of blessing and healing, and all the time the Lord will heal his servants, and they will rise up and see great peace and drive out their adversaries, and the righteous will see, be thankful, and rejoice for joy forever and ever. And will see all their judgments and all their curses on their enemies. And their bones will rest in the earth, and their spirits will have much joy. And they will know that it is the Lord who executes judgment and shows mercy to hundreds and thousands, and to all that love him. And you, Moses, write down these words, for thus are they written. And they record them on the heavenly tablets for a testimony for all generations. And then it says it came to pass about Abraham. So this is talking about the 1,000-year reign. We are in the very last part of this, and this is like word for word what's about to happen. There's about to be great bloodshed. I mean, I believe that, the fourth seal, it says a quarter of the world will die. So that's 2 billion people. And there's going to be a lot of bloodshed, and we are in the tribulation. There is no doubt in my mind. There's been 25 tornadoes in the last 2 or 3 days that are huge tornadoes. We have floods and all kinds of stuff happening in Dubai and Russia and like all over the place. I mean, we have just insane things going on. I mean, and ever since like actually, I mean, it started off, I mean, happening in January, but it's just, I mean, for the last month, it has been getting absolutely insane. And if you think this is bad, there's about to be earthquakes. There's about to be Yellowstone going off. There is about to be great and utter bloodshed. And I do believe there, I mean, this kind of alludes to it that the righteous, there will be a group of righteous people that will be God's people who will basically turn things around, as it kind of alludes to it in the later part of this, that that this will happen. And this is also supposedly apocrypha. This is supposed to, and it says to Moses. So this was written by Moses. So what I find really interesting is the Bible and the Apocrypha are heavily gone after. The Apocrypha even more than the Bible. It's like, and then like everything word for word is stuff that can be attributed to the Bible. And I strongly encourage you to know Jubilees. The Apocrypha is hidden because they don't want you to know the truth. Like there was today on one of the videos, there was a video and they were like debating who were the two prophets. There's a book in the Bible or a book in here that specifically say it's Enoch and Elijah. And actually, I think there's multiple places in here where it says that the two, yeah, it's in the revelation of Abraham and what is it? The revelation of like Elijah. Well, duh. But it specifically talks about the two prophets, and here we are like going against each other when everything that we need in is right here. Everything that we're bitching about and like supposedly not having the answer, all the answers are right here. This apocrypha was also in the original King James Bible, who was a Freemason, and he is and this has been hidden from us. So this is the Word of God, and until you read it, I mean, this answers so many different things. It shows who Nimrod is. It shows you the different people. It shows you more complete picture of Noah. It shows you a more complete picture of Adam and Eve. It even gives you hints as to who the giants were. So, yeah, thank you for joining me. And what I'm going to try to do with the last remaining time I have before, I don't know, things get really ugly, is to reveal more of this word. But yes, so I read through this, and I encourage you to read through this as well. But this was chapter 23 of the Jubilees. Jubilees is a very interesting book, and it explains a lot. And what I may do is I may read more of it in the near future. So thank you for joining me. Have a great evening, all, whenever you see this. But yes, please go to God. He loves you. But this clearly says that a lot of people are going to go away from it. There's a lot of abominations, and even our best stuff is going to be like completely soaked rags. And it says that people are going to go against each other and family members, and I'm living proof of it. My family is at odds with one another. I mean, it's and I think I'm a very big representative of what's going to happen. But you're seeing a lot, and you're going to see friends turn against friends. You're going to see family members that you call family, and they're going to turn against you. And this is biblical. This is prophetic. So thank you for joining me. God bless you all.